How VANC Serves America's Heroes with Lori Boody. Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact. An essential podcast for those who live, work, visit, and play in Carlsbad.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Bret Schanzenbach. I am the president and CEO of the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and I'm your host today, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Lori Boody from VANC. Lori, good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who don't know, VANC is the Veterans Association of North County, which of course we're going to talk about. But you and I actually first met. We were both in previous organizations, and we met in a different setting many years ago, actually,
Yes.
at this point. And you've had a very interesting journey professionally. I mean, you were a business owner. You worked for Adventist Health. Did I say that right? Adventist Health. And then the American Cancer Society, which I think is where we met. You were there at that time. So tell us a little bit about your professional journey and what got you to this point where you are now.
Well, I always refer to myself as a professional volunteer. I've always worked for nonprofit organizations. It's always been my heart. It's definitely where it is to be able to help those who need help.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a logistic freak. So in doing that, I'm created organizations. So it's been a great journey for me to be able to help people. And veterans have always been part of my heart. So that's just really what I've always done is nonprofits.
And you've been now with VANC for how long?
Well, I've been a volunteer there for 9 years,
okay.
And then I took over as the executive director. They created a position for me a little over 3 years ago.
Okay, so 3 years. But VANC itself goes back a bit farther than that, obviously. Goes back to Chuck Atkinson. Tell us a little bit about the story about VANC and its creation and what Chuck saw and the vision. And
Chuck Atkinson's a 3-branch veteran, amazing man.
That's rare.
Yes, it's very rare. Who saw that different organizations, American Legion, Women Marines, Buffalo Soldiers, they were all needing to find a location to have meetings, monthly meetings. So he decided to go to the city of Oceanside and say, hey, we want to start one building that can do it all. And just a real cohesive mechanism that he could provide important services for his fellow veterans and the servicemen and women in the community. So he began to collaborate with other organizations and in the city. So the city offered him a location in Oceanside, which was formerly housed the Oceanside Police Department. And they said, okay, I tell you what, we'll give you this building. You have to do all the fundraising, do all the maintenance and all, and it'll be yours to have. So with $300 in his pocket, he said, okay, signed a lease agreement with them. They gave him about 2 years to get it up and going. Well, in 2 years, the man fundraised with the help of obviously the community and a lot of us volunteers, $1.4 million.
Wow.
And created the amazing facility that's there now.
Yeah, well, that's great. And so some people don't actually know what VANC is and what it does and how it works as kind of that one-stop resource. So why don't you kind of share how VANC operates? Because as you already pointed out, there's actually a lot of different groups that want to do something to help veterans in one way or another. And so there's a lot of fingers involved in that work, but you guys are kind of an umbrella. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we are. We're an umbrella membership organization for about 25 veteran and what we refer to as Friends of VANC. And those are companies or corporations that want to support the military that are under our umbrella as well. Well, naturally, we're a 501c3, but we are a resource, training, and event center. So it's, as I said, created by veterans. It's for all active duty military veterans and their families. We centralize all kinds of services from diverse agencies to assist with jobs, education, finance, health, wellness, and we do training programs. Our training programs are absolutely free to active duty military veterans and their families 16 years of age and older. To name a few, we do Vets Beyond the Uniform. That's a transformation program where they will offer coaching, mentoring, training in over 200 different career paths. As we do a mixture, 200 career paths in classroom, and then about 120 will be a hybrid in classroom and online self-paced courses, that kind of thing. that we do. One of my very favorite courses we do is a prep cook class.
Oh.
It's a culinary arts class, and the prep cook we conduct right there in our commercial kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really nice because we have the local restaurant owners and our executive chefs working together.
Nice.
To do that course. So it's a really nice one. The most popular one right now is our cybersecurity course by far.
Yeah.
And that's a prep course class, gets them ready for their certifications to
Excellent.
go into the computer security
There's
world.
a high demand in that field.
Really high demand in that field. But that's what we do there at VANC mostly.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I think you mentioned it, but you have, did you say 25 organizations under your umbrella?
Yes.
That's awesome. And are there, like, does that evolve? Does that change? Do you get more? I mean, there's so many folks trying to do stuff for veterans. It feels like it's never static.
Right. Believe it or not, people think that we just welcome anyone all in, and it doesn't work that way with VANC. With the Veteran Association, we need to know that the organizations that work with us are actually working for and the purpose of vets, not to do business with them, but to actually be able to have a hand in the community. And that's what we're all about. We've actually had organizations come and that we had to ask to go because they simply weren't part of it. But the military organizations are always the first ones. Like I say, we house for the American Legion Post 760, the Buffalo Soldiers, the Marine Riders, the Marine Corps League, on and on. And then, like I said, the business organizations are those that come out. For instance, well, obviously, we work very closely with Camp Pendleton to support the men and women. They house over 50,000 there at Camp Pendleton. Their troops are right there on base. And if you add in their families, you're looking at a few more thousand to do onto that one. And there's actually over 77,000, which is such a big number, retirees right within a 50-mile radius of Camp Pendleton. Yeah, it's
77,000.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Retirees. So retirees, though, that doesn't include folks who served, maybe say they did 4 years or something and got out and who are living in the area. So that if you were to add that number, it would even be
correct.
Yeah, a lot higher.
Yeah, once you get stationed in San Diego and Camp Pendleton, you kind of want to stay.
Well, that was my family's story, right? My dad was a Marine, got transferred to Camp Pendleton when I was 3.5 years old, and from there he had to do a tour, and he did one tour in Okinawa, but we stayed, and he went, and when he came back, I think he had a couple more years here, and then it was if he were to re-up and continue going, he had been in about, I think it was about 9 years-ish, I think. But if he were to re-up, it meant a transfer. And my mom was like, I really like it here. I think we're good. I think it's time to get out. And so he did. But yeah, that's exactly what happened with us. It's a great place to settle once you get here. So you mentioned that you guys interface a lot with Camp Pendleton. I do want to give a shout out because you also chair our Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce Military Affairs Committee, which is, had a hiatus because of COVID, but is now back up and running again. And tell us a little bit about what that committee does.
Well, the committee is an amazing committee, really, because what they do is they bridge the gap between businesses in Carlsbad and the men and women of Camp Pendleton. They want to make sure that Camp Pendleton active duty know that we're here as businesses. We're here to help. A lot of them offer discounts and support and jobs and all for the spouses as well. And it's just a really good cohesive relationship for them to know, and also for the businesses to get to know the people of Camp Pendleton. Yeah.
So it meets on which Friday of the month is it?
It's the last Friday of every month at 0800, 1 hour.
Gotcha. Yeah. We would normally say 8 a.m., but you're doing military. 0800 sounds perfect. That's great. No, and it's open to anybody to come. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Anyone who wants to support the military.
Awesome. Yeah. So there you go, folks. If you haven't tried out our Military Affairs Committee, last Friday of the month at 8 a.m., come to the chamber office. So during COVID, you guys had to take on some new roles, and you got involved in some new stuff that you hadn't really, had to do before. And I know firsthand, because my family even helped volunteer a couple times, but food distribution, diaper distribution. Talk to us about some of that stuff that
I'd love to share that.
Yeah.
What we did March 16th, we got shut down with the rest of the world. And we started hearing Camp Pendleton, what was happening at Camp Pendleton. The spouses were getting furloughed quickly, and the numbers were growing to the point between the end, when March 16th hit and the end of March, we had 90% of active duty spouses were furloughed.
Oh,
90%. Man. So I immediately jumped into a food and diaper distribution with the help of the North County Food Bank and American Legion Post 760. And we all teamed up and got together and started food and diaper distribution. Like you say, your family volunteered.
Yeah.
From April of 2020 to August of 2021, the one we just hit, we've served 31,028.
Wow.
Of that, 91% have been active duty.
Wow.
So the numbers have just been huge and needed. But let me give you an idea of the demographics. We've given away 264,032 diapers.
That's a lot of diapers.
So that just tells the demographic of the active duty that we're helping.
Young
so
family.
It's great. But VANC is a very, very large organization of volunteers. I truly am the only paid employee there.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do any of the things that we do without the help of the volunteers, to the point of just in the food and diaper distribution, we've had over 4,900 hours contributed.
Wow.
Just for that cause.
That's tremendous.
We even have volunteers that home deliver to 7 housebound veterans that can't get out. So it's just a really wonderful feature that we did, and it's something that I never dreamed I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Food and diaper distribution, but here we are.
But here we are, and you adapted to what the needs were and continued to be a resource. You've been a resource, but the needs changed, and
we
you
had
guys,
to pivot.
Yeah. You guys adapted, and that's tremendous. You brought up the topic there of active duty spouses of the active duty members, I guess is the way I'm trying to say, and they have a lot of unique needs too, because they get transferred. Their family gets transferred, so they come into new areas where they don't know the lay of the land. Maybe they have to try and find some work, employment. Do you guys work with them as well?
Yeah, that's one of our biggest points that we do help. Active duty military, obviously, they're working.
Yeah.
So the spouse is the one that we're going to make sure that we take care of. So many people think that because they are active duty spouses, they don't have college education, they don't have the flexibility to be able to work long hours, whatever it is. They're people. They have. The one thing Camp Pendleton does is have daycare and all the other things taken care of for these people, so they can go out and have regular lifestyles. So the majority of our spouses are college educated, as well as a lot of them are moms. So they have that need to have that flexibility, yes, but that's what, for instance, the Carlsbad Business Place is all about, is entrepreneurship.
Yeah, when I was at the Vista Chamber, my office manager was a spouse of a Marine, and she was a rock star. They got transferred to New York when I was still there, and it was so sad to lose her. When I came to Carlsbad, before I actually started, but when I knew I was coming, I texted her. I'm like, when are you getting transferred back to Southern California? Which I think she's in Hawaii right now, but maybe she's listening to this. No, great people, and they do highly qualified and highly capable, just a very unique situation where they're having to uproot every few years.
Yeah, and it's true. It's difficult. There's no question. They don't have the ability to advance as quickly as someone who is, stationed or who lives here permanently type thing. So that's always a big pull. But I always like to share that, we don't just support the military and the spouses and all. We honor them. We truly do. Currently, for instance, we're building an honor wall in community event space.
I saw that on your website.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's beautiful. It's a big grassy area. The stage is huge. It's going to be great for weddings, dance recitals, military ceremonies, art exhibits, anything the community would like to have a beautiful outdoor venue for.
This is what it's going to be right there at your current facility.
Yes, it's being built right and directly in front of our facility, where it's going to be a wall that'll have individual brass plaques to honor active duty as well as any American military veteran.
Nice. And people can support this project, right? They can, like, if they make a certain donation in honor of somebody in their family, right? And get them, is that how it works?
Well, there's two different funds.
Okay.
There's a plaque fund, and that just simply, you purchase a plaque, $150 or $200 more real estate, more writing on the plaque for the $200 plaque. And that pays for the plaque to be put up in the brass plaque and to us to maintain it and keep it going. Then there's the building fund. The building fund is what's going to create the actual environment itself that we're doing. I always share a story that we fundraised for 3 years for this project. It was about $332,000 to complete the whole project. 3 years of fundraising. And we broke ground in February of
this year?
2020. Of 2020.
Yeah.
And then March, we were shut down.
Oh, golly.
Yeah. So it actually was kind of a blessing that it happened. I do share this story. We have literally depleted our building fund, helping active duty military with the COVID situation.
Yeah.
Nobody got the big bucks. We did it in $200 and $300 increments to a lot of people. Car repairs, utility bills, cell phone, just trying to make those ends meet for their furloughed spouses who hadn't, you have a junior rank income.
Yeah.
And living in San Diego County.
Yeah.
The two bridges don't.
So you had the funds available to do that because you had raised for this building fund.
Yeah, so it was kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to be honest, heavy heart, 3 years of fundraising.
Right.
But you know what? It's just fundraising. We can start again and do it again. I share this story a lot because I really need people to understand that we are so blessed to be able to help them.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. That's what VANC does.
That's your mission. That's your purpose. Well, that's great. So, but then the bottom line is now we need to backfill. So folks listening to this, they need donations for that honor garden and memorial wall and
That's right. And it is an honor wall. It's we're not necessarily featuring memorial situations because we have a lot of active duty on that wall.
Gotcha.
So I'd like to make sure it's referred to as an honor wall. And because we receive no state or government funding, we just have funding through amazing donors. One of our donors that I always like to bring up is John and Carol Sanders. They are just an amazing couple that help us through the financial needs and all, help start programs and that type thing.
From right here in Carlsbad.
That's why I like to always share with them on that. And the occasional grant that we get, that type of thing. That's how we get funding. We make our base funding from renting out our event space. Yeah,
so I wanted to talk about that. You have a beautiful event space, and not everybody knows that it's there and it's available. Is it available to just anyone, or do you have to have military, like you have to be a retired military or something like that?
Great question. We've always kept it kind of a secret that we have such a beautiful facility. But now it's going to be absolutely open to the public. Yeah. We've always been open to the public in reality, but we just really didn't share it out there too much because we were busy enough, didn't need to, but a little different situation now. Now we need to keep the lights on, so to speak. So it is a beautiful venue that will seat 241 plated dinners from our commercial kitchen, or 300 theater style. Yeah, we have.
That's a good size.
Yeah, it's a great size. Matter of fact, tomorrow night we have a Hawaiian recital for the kids. There's going to be over 70 kids dancing in the Hawaiian themes music, and all the families coming. So we have just fun events, and that's a non-military, obviously, event happening there.
So that could be really that's a good size for wedding receptions. And,
we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's
quinceañeras and all kinds of stuff.
Our executive chef has real competitive prices, so the catering is amazing food that we offer out of there too. And of course, our full bar is absolutely wonderful. Nice. I always mention that, again, we're a volunteer-based organization, but the bartender is one of my very favorite people in the entire world. It's my husband, Michael.
There we go. Nice. And, for those that haven't been to your facility yet, it's when you start talking meeting space, it's also kind of key to note that you have ample parking for whatever size group that you have, which is great.
We have very, very large parking area flat, no hills, no walking, no stairs, which is a big deal that we have. And then we have 4 meeting rooms as well in various sizes for people who want to have executive board meetings to large organizational meetings. They can rent the space for that as well.
So from the former Oceanside Police Department to wedding receptions and corporate meetings. I love it. That's great. So anything else you want to share with us about what you guys do and how you serve?
One of the things I do want to share, being on your podcast, is VANC is starting their own podcast.
That's
and
right.
We're really excited about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be easily found. It'll be started in September. The site will be vancepodcast.me. And it's just going to be a really exciting way to hear more about the military life and just things that people may not have known about military lifestyle, as well as Camp Pendleton. We'll be bringing a lot of people in to share on that, and just to hear what the veterans are feeling, going through, as well as active duty.
And I'm sure, knowing the gentleman who's helping you launch that, I'm sure that will be able to be found on all the different platforms that folks typically find their podcasts of choice.
Yes, it absolutely will be. As I said, going to vancepodcast.me will direct them to fill out the information. If they want to become a subscriber or start hearing about it, they can do that right now. But in September, we'll be launching the site. Excellent.
Well, that'll be a great chance to continue to share the story, the mission, all that you guys do at VANC through that means. And I just appreciate you taking the time to come and sit with me today and share about all your great work there. I greatly appreciate your involvement in our Military Affairs Committee. So thank you so much for being here today, Lori.
But thank you so much for having me. I'd like your viewers to always please look on our website, vance.me, for any kind of help they may be wanting to do, or maybe just give us an hour and volunteer.
Love it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on our Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please hit the follow button on wherever you get your audio, and please tell a friend. We would love to hear your feedback, which you can share at carlsbadpodcast.com. You can leave us a review, ask a question, or leave an audio comment, which we can play on the show in the future. And that's all we have for today. Can't wait to see you next time on Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact. And remember, share some kindness today. It's free, creates goodwill, and makes you feel great.